Right, welcome back to the channel. So we'll continue our journey to Silverdale and just tell you a little bit more about the bike. Let's get off the stone jetty. Right, we're on our way. What an amazing day. Go on, I can get through. They're always digging up the road somewhere, aren't they? Ideal day for flying the drone. No wind. When you put your feet down, when you notice that you need, when you're moving the bike, you're reversing, pulling the bike about, when you sat on it, that's when you notice the height of the bike. Because if you can get your feet flat, you've far more purchase, haven't you? Doing it on tiptoes, it's quite difficult to move around, to move the bike around. So the headlamp is LED, as are the indicators. And it has a daytime running light. There's a sensor in the centre of this screen here which detects the light level, and when the light level gets to below a certain level, the headlamps come on rather than the daytime running lights. But if any of your LEDs fail, either on the indicators, your tail lamp, or on the headlamp, you do have to replace the whole unit as opposed to just changing a bulb, which you would have done before with the old incandescent bulbs. But they should last a very long time, LEDs anyway, shouldn't they? Probably should never need to replace them unless you get a wiring fault. So the display is an LCD display, but it's also got a TFT information tray in the centre where you can adjust all your settings. The brakes, same good brakes. The rear brake lever you do have to angle your foot down quite a bit to actuate it. Probably far more than I've been used to on the enduro bike. The front brakes, they seem to have plenty of bite. Well, I'm sure that will improve as things get worn in. It's only got a single 320mm disc and a Triumph branded 4 piston caliper. But it's probably enough for this bike, for what it's designed for. It's not a big heavy sport, you know, sports bike. It's not a sports bike where you're going to need lots of stopping power. You're not going to be doing those speeds or riding it in such a way that you're going to need twin discs. And of course, putting twin discs on will only adds to the weight, makes things a little bit more complicated, and adds to the cost. So if it doesn't need it, don't put it on. Keep things simple. The rear brake needs a little bit more pressure. But you're using them in conjunction with the front brake anyway. Just coming into Silverdale now. Done 24.6 miles at the moment. Had 2 miles when I brought it back home. The brakes and the clutch are adjustable for reach. So if you've got large or small hands, you can adjust them with these little dials. So I think 5 is for the smallest reach and 1 is for the widest reach if you've got quite large hands. Just heading our way back towards Carnforth now, having exited Silverdale, heading towards Silverdale station, railway station. The indicators are self-cancelling, so they turn themselves off in the automatic mode, they turn themselves off after 8 seconds, or if the bike has done 65 metres. But you can adjust it in the settings, so you can actually take it off automatic and just ride with the manual if you don't like the automatic part of it. Bike comes equipped with lean sensitive ABS and lean sensitive traction control for the first time for this 2025 model. So within the IMU on the bike, it's got this lean sensitive sensor which obviously determines how much lean you have going into a corner, and it constantly monitors and adjusts if necessary the ABS and the traction control depending on your road conditions, which is handy to have. Now again, in the settings menu, you can turn that off. I'm not too sure about the traction control, but the ABS you can turn off at the start of your ride. But when you finish your ride and you switch your engine off, it will automatically go back into the ABS setting. So if you want to turn it off again when you commence your ride, you're going to have to go back into settings and switch it off, because otherwise it'll have reverted back to the automatic ABS. The bike seems to turn in quite easily. Well, I could imagine if it had the 17-inch wheel, like on the Speed 400, it would probably turn in a little bit quicker. But as this is based on the Bonneville, they've stuck with the 18-inch wheel. I think we'll turn left here rather than going around the outside of the crag. Bit more interesting going this way. Often come this way on the push bikes. We'll go and have a look at the quarry as well on our way back. Really is a pleasure to ride this bike. Very easy, comfortable, stress-free. And it's got all the grunt where you need it, isn't it? Right at the bottom end. Instead of higher up the rev band, unlike the sports bikes. I did think about the 1200 in the Speed Twin, but what's the point? It's over another £3,000 dearer, and I'm not going to get the benefit from it, not on the roads I'm riding on. This is plenty big enough. Foot peg position is quite comfortable. My knees are bent a little bit, but not uncomfortably so. I think if I'm 5'8", if you was somebody is 6 foot, then you possibly might think the bike's a little bit small and you probably want the 1200. Here's the quarry. I think they're working on the footpaths at the bottom of the crag today and all week. Gets very muddy during the winter along the bottom, the footpath. So I think they're putting gravel down, which make it a lot easier, a lot cleaner for people walking. Right, we'll just have a look at this bike, have a walk round. I do like stainless steel exhaust, but even this is actually stainless steel. Well, it's a black, but it's got at least got the stainless steel end to it. It's quite a nice touch. They've obviously got quite a few upgrades on this 2025 model. The suspension. They've got new, is it Marcosi rear forks, piggyback, with the piggyback reservoirs on both sides. New Marcosi 43mm front upside down forks. So obviously with having the new forks you've no rubber gaiters like on the previous model. New aluminium cast alloy 8 sport front wheel, and the same on the back, 8 sport cast alloy. Michelin classic front and rear tyres. Newly designed LED headlamp with the daytime running light at the top. Got the new indents now on the tank, it'll give you a little bit better turning circle. Nice touch on the Bonneville are these fins. So the new seat, which is just a little bit narrower. Slightly shorter swing arm. I think the wheelbase is just slightly shorter as well overall, just to give it that little bit sportier feel. The redesigned LED tail lamp. They have really done well with the sound of the exhaust, because it goes 2 into 1 underneath the bike and then back into 2 again. So they've obviously had to comply with these new Euro regulations, but they've still managed to retain that typical Bonneville sound. There's a Triumph branded 4-piston calipers on the 320 disc. And of course the clock, which is the same as on the Trident 660. I think it's on another bike as well, isn't it? It's got the USB fitting on the side if you do want to plug your phone in, or some electronic gadgetry. They slightly offset the screen, but it has to be, hasn't it? Because you've got to put the ignition barrel somewhere. But it isn't an issue for me. I know there's 1 or 2 people that have commented they don't particularly like it offset, but when you're riding you never notice it. Chrome tack, the filler's a nice touch. Again, slightly offset. I put the tank pad on just to help protect the back of the tank, and I've just bought this SW Mortec little bag as well, which I can just store my drone in, 1 or 2 bits and bobs, but plenty big enough just for the day. It has some straps underneath. You can actually take the seat off and fasten it underneath the seat totally. But I did try that, and there was some movement with the bag which I wasn't particularly happy with. So I've just used these, again the straps that come with it, you just loop them around the tubular frame, and then they just clip onto here, and it's very stable. And you can also increase the depth with it. It has an extra zip at the bottom, so if you want to put more stuff in it, you can increase the depth. So that's about it, really. It's a nice looking bike. So there's the DJ Mic 2. Just pop it inside this put down sunglasses case. And fold it up and then just literally pop it inside the helmet. Let it just sit there. What an amazing day, isn't it? It hasn't been, well, I can't remember a day like this. Don't think it's ever been as warm or as sunny for probably since the back end of last year. Right, everything's all fastened up. Good to go. Bit of off-roading. This green light here signifies the LE daytime running lights are working. Yeah, so I just hope this DJ Mic 2 just sat in the helmet in that cover. I've taken the dead cat off it, as you can see. And it just sat in the bottom against the chin guard. And because it's in the cover, it's not rattling around. It's not moving about. So when I get to edit this video, these last two videos, let's hope there's no problems. It's certainly a lot easier than messing around with the magnets. So before we finish off, just want to give a big mention, big shout out to Yule's Motorcycles. Small firm. They've two branches, one in Blackburn and one in Manchester. So the Manchester branch not only does Triumph but they do Honda, and the Blackburn branch not only Triumph but they do Suzuki as well, and I think they do scooters. So I'd just like to thank three of the salesmen that I had contact with. There was Adam, who provided all the initial information and sold the bike to me. But on the day of collection there was Jason, who did the official handover, again with the information, and Philip, that was there when we picked the bike up, helped load it on the trailer, provide any other bits of information I needed. So a big shout out to them. So if you're in the market for a Triumph, Suzuki or Honda, give Yule's Motorcycles a ring. because they have given me first class service. They're very attentive, and they know their stuff. Then we'll go left here, just at the bottom. This is Leighton Moss that you can see all in front. This is Leighton Moss here as well, another part of the reserve. So I think we'll finish the video at this point. I hope you've enjoyed our ride to Arnside and back on the two videos. If you have, please give me a big thumbs up, and please like and subscribe. If you want more notifications on any future upcoming videos, press that bell thingy for future notifications. So until next time, thank you for watching and ride safe.